Maria's shoulder-length hair is tied back in a messy bun, and she wears a well-worn apron dusted with flour, the symbol of a woman who's been through long hours of work but keeps going for her family. The warm, golden light from the setting sun streams through the window, casting soft, inviting hues across the room. Her brown eyes, tired but determined, gleam with a quiet energy as she moves through her daily tasks, focused on her cooking. Daniel, husband, enters the kitchen distracted, his focus entirely on his phone. He holds his phone tapping the screen. His tired, hollow eyes and the slight stubble on his face show the neglect of self-care, the subtle distance that has grown between them. His posture is careless, his body language closed off. As Maria stirs the pot, she catches a glimpse of the message flashing on his phone, "Miss you already." The words hit her like a wave of cold water, and her heart stops. She freezes, wooden spoon in hand, her expression shifting from contentment to shock. Her hands tremble slightly, and for a brief moment, time stands still as she stares at him, the reality of his betrayal hitting her all at once. The kitchen, once a symbol of familial warmth, now feels like a battleground, with Maria caught in the unraveling illusion of her perfect family. The air feels thick as she holds the wooden spoon, her eyes filled with disbelief and hurt. Her posture straightens, trying to steady herself, but the pain is clear in her eyes. In the background, Eva and Mateo remain unaware of the growing rift between their parents, their voices muffled from the other room, where they play or prepare for bed. The couple's bedroom, dimly lit by the cold, gray light slipping through the curtains. The room feels smaller, as if the walls are closing in on her. The air is thick with the weight of unspoken words. The silence between them is suffocating, broken only by the occasional hum of the distant city. Maria stands near the bed, her hands clenched at her sides, her body tense and rigid. Daniel sits on the edge of the bed, his back to her, shoulders slumped as if carrying a burden that he's already set down. His eyes are fixed on the floor, his breath shallow and deliberate. He has nothing to say, he has already made his decision. Maria, voice trembling but steady. How long? Daniel doesn't respond immediately. He shifts, uncomfortable, like he's just waiting for the storm to pass. He rubs his face slowly, as if looking for the right words, but there's no emotion there, just a cold distance. When he finally speaks, it's flat, resigned. Daniel, a year. It's been a year, Maria. The words hit her like a slap, their sharpness reverberating through the space. She feels the room closing in even tighter now. A year. She feels the weight of that time slipping through her fingers like sand. Maria, stepping closer, her voice cracking. A year? Her eyes fill with disbelief, and you never once thought about telling me? About us? You just kept it going? Daniel doesn't meet her gaze. He stays silent for a moment longer, his gaze unwavering from the floor. Maria can feel the heat rising in her chest. It starts as a slow burn, but soon it's like fire licking at her skin. Maria, was I not enough for you? Did I just become a shadow in your life, something to be tossed aside when it wasn't convenient anymore? Daniel exhales, a sharp, quick sound. He runs a hand through his hair, clearly avoiding her gaze. His indifference burns her more than anything. Her fingers twitch at her sides, desperate to release the tension. Daniel, it wasn't about you, Maria. You didn't do anything wrong. I don't know. I don't feel anything anymore. I've been empty for so long. The affair. It didn't feel anything. It was just easier. The words are like daggers wrapped in apathy. Her breath hitches in her chest, and for a moment, she can't breathe. She thought she knew him. She thought they were something real, something solid. But in this moment, he feels like a stranger. She looks at him, but all she can see is the man who walked away from her heart, piece by piece, without ever saying a word. Maria, barely above a whisper, her voice thick with pain. You don't feel anything anymore? Is that what you're telling me? After everything? After us? Daniel doesn't respond. He just stands up, slow and deliberate, as if there's nothing left to say. He walks to the door, his steps deliberate, his back still turned to her. With that, he opens the door and leaves, the sound of it clicking shut behind him like the finality of a death. Maria stands there for a long moment, the coldness of the room creeping into her bones. The space between them feels like a chasm now, something she will never be able to bridge. She takes a step forward, her legs weak, as if the weight of the world is pressing down on her chest. Her hand reaches out, as though to touch the air where he once stood. But it's too late. He's gone. Tears start to fall, but she doesn't make a sound. The tears are for the person he used to be, the person she thought he was. The man she loved. But she doesn't know who this man is anymore. Maria collapses onto the bed, curling into herself, her sobs quiet but wrenching, a sound of loss that fills the empty space in the room. The silence presses in around her, thick and heavy, the emptiness of the space swallowing her whole. The door clicks shut behind Daniel. Maria doesn't follow him to the driveway. She doesn't scream, doesn't beg. The silence afterward is louder than any fight could have been. She stands in the hallway for a moment, arms crossed over her chest like a shield. Her breathing is shallow, disoriented. The air feels thinner without his presence, as if the oxygen has turned traitor, too. The living room is dimly lit, the last strands of sunset dying across the hardwood floor. Shadows gather like mourners. The framed wedding photo still sits proudly on the mantel, Maria in lace, beaming, Daniel beside her, eyes that once looked at her like she was everything. Her eyes flick to the photo in her hands again, her mind flashes back to when Daniel was still beside her, when they were a family. The quiet hum of the house now feels like a mockery of the life she thought they were building. Maria's expression reflects the quiet fierceness that runs through her, even in moments of vulnerability. Her apron, still on from dinner, is slightly worn, a symbol of her unspoken strength in this moment of fragility. There's a subtle fierceness behind her sorrow, the kind that comes from deep within, a woman who knows that she must move forward, even if she doesn't know how just yet. Now, she stares at that photo, hands trembling as she picks it up. The smile on her face taunts her. A memory, now a mockery. Slowly, she lowers herself to the couch, photo pressed to her chest. Her knuckles whiten around the frame. She wants to throw it. Wants it to shatter like she feels inside. But instead, she just holds it tighter, as if crushing it might bring clarity. A child's cough drifts down from upstairs, her youngest, 6 years old, dreaming of dinosaurs and peanut butter sandwiches, unaware that their world has split in two. Maria closes her eyes and leans back into the silence. It's a cruel kind of peace. Not the absence of noise, but the kind that echoes. The kind that highlights every tick of the clock, every creak of the floorboards. Her phone buzzes. She jumps, fumbling to grab it, some irrational part of her hoping it's Daniel. That maybe he's changed his mind. That he's halfway down the road and missing her already. But it's a notification from the bank. A payment due. Reality again. She drops the phone onto the couch. Her gaze drifts to the staircase. Tomorrow, she'll have to explain. She'll have to look into her children's eyes and tell them their father isn't coming back. Not for breakfast, not for birthdays. Not even for Christmas. She imagines their questions. Did we do something wrong? Where is he sleeping now? Will he still come to my play? And she doesn't have answers. Not good ones, not true ones. On the coffee table sits Daniel's favorite mug, the one with the chipped handle, the one Maria always hated but never threw out. She picks it up, stares into the empty porcelain hollow like it might offer insight, then cradles it in her lap. It smells faintly of old coffee and aftershave. A scent that used to mean comfort. Now it makes her nauseous. The clock chimes 9. Maria stands slowly, as if gravity has doubled. She walks through the house, each step aching. She opens Daniel's closet. Empty. The absence of his clothes feels louder than his presence ever was. The space smells of cedar and betrayal. She sinks to her knees in front of the closet. A sob rises, catching in her throat. She swallows it. She can't fall apart, not yet. In the mirror above the dresser, she sees herself. pale, hollow-eyed. Her robe hangs loose, like it doesn't belong to her. She doesn't recognize the woman staring back. But she nods to her reflection, just once. Then she rises. She walks back to the living room, picks up the wedding photo again. This time, she doesn't cradle it. She sets it down. Face down. The silence remains. But now, it's waiting. Maria switches off the light. Darkness doesn't scare her anymore. She climbs the stairs slowly, one hand trailing the banister, every step echoing a promise. Tomorrow, the truth begins. Morning chaos, kitchen, hallway, front porch. Dawn after devastation. The alarm blares at 6 a.m. sharp. Maria's eyes fly open. For a split second, confusion holds her, the kind that comes after grief, where waking feels like surfacing through cold water. Then she remembers. Every part of her body does. She doesn't cry. Not now. There isn't time. The house is quiet, still blanketed in sleep. But it won't last. She throws her legs over the side of the bed and stands. There's no one to say good morning to. No arms reaching for her waist, no warm presence shuffling beside her, just cold air and a to-do list. In the kitchen, the coffee brews in a pot that feels too big now. She makes it anyway. She cracks eggs one-handed while answering a work email on her phone, multitasking like she always has. Only today, everything has shifted. There's a bruise in her chest, deep and invisible. It pulses with every movement. But Maria pushes past it. The first sounds of life begin upstairs. A bathroom door creaks, small feet hit the floor. Her daughter, Eva, 11, stumbles into the kitchen, rubbing her eyes. "Morning, Mama," Eva mumbles. "Morning, baby," Maria answers with a smile that doesn't reach her eyes. She flips a pancake. "Chocolate chip okay today?" Eva nods, then peers up, squinting. "Where's Dad?" Maria's hand falters for the briefest moment. The spatula clinks too loudly against the skillet. She exhales slowly, bracing herself, then turns around. He's not going to be here in the mornings anymore," she says gently. Her voice catches, but she recovers quickly. "We'll talk more after school, okay? Eat your breakfast." Eva's face clouds, confusion mixing with dread, but she doesn't push. She senses the crack in her mother's voice, and she knows, instinctively, that something big has shifted. Maria kisses her forehead, lingers there a second longer than usual. "Where's my blue hoodie?" yells her son, Matteo, from upstairs. "In the dryer," she calls back, just as the toast pops. She moves like a machine, sandwiches into lunch boxes, water bottles filled, backpacks by the door. On autopilot, but barely holding together. There's no Daniel to call for help, no backup. It's just her now, and the day is already waiting to test her. She glances at the clock. They're running late. "Shoes. Let's go, come on," she calls out, trying to inject some lightness into her voice. She zips up Matteo's coat, hands Eva her backpack, slings her own purse over her shoulder, everything choreographed, habitual. But underneath the rhythm is raw survival. At the door, Eva hesitates. "Mom, did you and Dad fight?" Maria kneels, cupping her daughter's face. "Things between us changed. But it's not your fault. Or Matteo's. You hear me?" Eva nods, but her eyes brim with tears. Maria's own throat tightens. "You're strong. Just like me," she whispers, kissing her cheeks. "Now go. You've got a quiz today, remember? Show it who's boss." The kids head off to the sidewalk. Maria watches from the porch as they disappear into the world, too young to carry the weight of their father's absence, but already doing so anyway. She waits until they turn the corner. Then she closes the door, locks it, and leans her forehead against it. The breath she's been holding escapes in a shudder. Her hand flies to her mouth as the sobs come, quick, harsh, uninvited. She slides down to the floor, curling into herself like a thread unraveling. Alone now, she weeps. There are no witnesses, no need to be brave. For 10 full minutes, she lets it all out, the betrayal, the terror, the isolation. The sound of her pain echoes in the quiet kitchen, as sacred and raw as prayer. When it's over, she doesn't feel better. Maria sits at the table in a wrinkled t-shirt, hair piled into a messy bun, a steaming mug of tea forgotten by her elbow. Her face is pale, drawn, and lined with the kind of weariness that no sleep can fix. She stares at a spreadsheet of bills, fingers frozen above the keyboard. Rent is due in 5 days. The numbers glare back like an accusation. She shifts her eyes to the handwritten list beside her: rent, electricity, groceries, Mateo's field trip, Eva's ballet shoes, torn at the toe, internet, cell phone, gas. The totals don't work. No matter how she rearranges them, there's more going out than coming in. Maria closes her eyes, rubs her temples. Her heart pounds, not like panic, not a sprint, but a steady, suffocating squeeze that keeps getting tighter. Like a slow drowning, she reaches for her wallet and pulls out what little cash is left, 2 $20 bills and some loose change. She stares at it, then slides it back in. It's not enough. Not even close. A notification buzzes on her phone, overdraft alert. Her hand trembles as she deletes the message. She glances toward the stairs, toward the tiny hum of her children's white noise machine behind the closed doors of their rooms. They're asleep, safe in dreams, blissfully unaware that their mother is barely holding their world together with string and willpower. She scrolls through job listings. Most are part-time, underpaid. A few she's already applied for. She clicks on another and begins typing, filling in the same information for the 10th time this week. Her resume looks hollow even to her. A drop falls onto the keyboard. Then another. She doesn't realize she's crying until she tastes salt on her lips. Maria pushes the laptop away and drops her head into her hands. Her sobs are quiet this time, not like earlier. These are broken sounds, choked and tired, not from pain anymore, but from exhaustion. Not just physical. Existential. She remembers Daniel saying, "You'll be fine. You're strong." It didn't sound like comfort. It sounded like dismissal. A passing of the burden. Strong. What does that even mean when you're terrified? She used to think strength was being able to handle everything. Now she understands, it's having no choice but to try, even when you're breaking. She opens her eyes and wipes her cheeks. There's a knock at the door. No, not a knock. A windblown branch. She checks the clock, 11:42 p.m. The world outside is still. Empty. Just like her. She rises, grabs the tea, cold now, and pours it into the sink. She stares out the window, into the blackness beyond her backyard, and whispers, "I can't do this." And then, with more quiet defiance, "But I will." She picks up her phone again. Opens another job app. This one's for night cleaning at an office building. Graveyard shift. She applies. Then another, a morning shift at a diner. She breathes in. Long and deep. The future doesn't feel possible right now. But the next step does. One task. One meal. $1 at a time. Maria turns off the light. She climbs the stairs slowly, her body aching but her spine straighter than it was an hour ago. She slips into bed, alone, again, but this time, with resolve nestled beside the ache. Tomorrow, she'll work. Tomorrow, she'll rise earlier. Tomorrow, she'll fight. A day in Maria's new double life, diner, morning, office building, night. The hours blur. Her body does not. The shriek of the alarm pierces the still dark morning. 4:30 a.m. Maria jolts awake, heart pounding as if she's already behind. There's no time for reflection, no luxury of a second snooze. She swings her legs over the edge of the bed and winces as her bare feet hit the cold floor. Her joints ache like she's aged a decade overnight. In the bathroom, she quickly brushes her teeth, barely glancing at the woman in the mirror. Puffy eyes. pale lips, hair tied back into a low, damp ponytail. A face that used to wear makeup, now only wears fatigue. By 5 a.m., she's in the kitchen, moving silently so she doesn't wake the kids. She preps their lunch boxes in the dim light, peanut butter and jelly for Mateo, turkey, and hummus wrap for Eva. A sticky note hard on each sandwich bag, "You've got this. I love you." She sets out cereal and bowls for their breakfast. A quick glance at the clock. She's late. 6 a.m., diner shift. The bell above the door jingles as Maria slips into the back entrance of the diner. The uniform, khaki pants and a pale blue polo shirt, is already sweat-stained from yesterday's double shift. She throws on an apron and punches in. The kitchen is chaos already. Orders ring out in rapid-fire shorthand: 2 over medium, side of sausage, table 4. Refill on coffee, Maria. Can we get toast that isn't burnt this time? Maria moves with robotic precision, tray balanced, smile practiced. Her feet hurt from the moment she steps in, but she doesn't stop. She can't. A regular customer, a man in his 60s, glances at her name tag and says kindly, "You're new here, right? You've got the hands of someone who used to do something else." Maria smiles tightly. Still do. By the end of the shift, her back is screaming. A waitress accidentally spills hot coffee down Maria's arm. It burns. She doesn't flinch. Just wipes it off and keeps moving. 3 p.m., home transition. Maria rushes home with barely 15 minutes before the school bus arrives. She sheds her diner clothes in the laundry room, scrubs the coffee off her arm, and throws on jeans and a sweater. When the kids come in, they're loud, tired, hungry. Maria kisses their cheeks, asks about school, helps with math homework while prepping spaghetti. Her eyes dart to the clock constantly. She eats dinner standing up, washing dishes between bites. Then she gets dressed again. 6 p.m., office building, night shift cleaner. The office smells of lemon cleaner and stale productivity. Empty desks. Computer screens in sleep mode. The hum of fluorescent lights. Maria pushes a janitor's cart down the marble hallway, mop in one hand, spray bottle in the other. It's a strange contrast to her morning. Instead of loud orders and fried eggs, it's silence and spreadsheets she can't read. She cleans the same spots over and over. Her mind wanders, to Eva's laugh, to Mateo's missing permission slip, to bills she still hasn't paid. In a break room, she eats a granola bar. No dinner tonight. Just exhaustion and a bottle of lukewarm water. In the women's restroom, she catches sight of herself in the mirror again. A small tear tracks down her cheek. She doesn't wipe it away this time. She just nods at herself. "You're doing it," she whispers. "No one sees it. But you're doing it." Midnight, home again. She tiptoes in, the house silent. She checks on the kids, tucks the blankets higher on Mateo, kisses Eva's forehead. Then collapses onto her bed fully dressed. Her phone buzzes with a message from her mother, "Let me know if you need help." She stares at it, then turns the phone over. She wants to need help. But more than that, she needs to prove she can stand. As her eyes close, her fingers curl slightly, as if holding on to something invisible, something sacred. Survival isn't graceful. But it's fierce. Grocery store parking lot/school pickup area. Mid-afternoon haze. Maria stands in public, exposed in every sense. The grocery store is colder than usual, even for a July afternoon. Maria pulls her worn cardigan tighter around her body as she pushes the half-empty cart down the dairy aisle. Milk. Eggs. Bread. The staples, only the staples. She bypasses the cereal her kids love. Too expensive this week. She grabs the store-brand alternative, heart heavy with guilt she doesn't show on her face. As she turns the corner into the produce section, she sees 2 women, neighbors from down the street. They used to make small talk during soccer practice and PTA meetings. Once, they shared margaritas and laughter around a fire pit. They see her, too. But instead of waving, they lean closer to each other. One whispers, The other tilts her head, feigning surprise. Their eyes flick to Maria, then away again. Maria stiffens. She hears it, even if she doesn't catch the words. She feels it, the invisible ink of gossip smearing across her reputation. She straightens her back and walks past them without flinching. But inside, something twists. At checkout, the cashier barely looks at her. He swipes her groceries like she's a ghost. The total flashes on the screen, more than she calculated. Her throat tightens. She removes the strawberries. Then the bag of almonds. She forces a smile. Maybe next time. The cashier shrugs. Sure. Maria carries her 2 bags outside. The sunlight blinds her as she steps into the parking lot, and for a moment, it feels like the world is staring. She loads the groceries into her trunk and catches sight of herself in the car window. She looks smaller. Like she's been carved down. Not weaker. Just less of who she used to be. Or maybe more of who she never wanted to become. 3 p.m., school pickup. The blacktop is crowded with parents, mostly couples. Moms in yoga pants with iced coffees. Dads in suits holding their toddlers. Laughter rises from little cliques of friendship, Maria's old circle among them. She stands apart, near the far corner of the gate. Alone. One of the moms, Christy, spots her. There's a hesitation. Then Christy walks over, smile forced, pity thick in her eyes. Hey, Maria, she says with the kind of voice reserved for funerals. How are you holding up? Maria smiles tightly. Doing okay, thanks. Christy leans in, voice dropping. You know, some people are saying it's not all his fault. I mean, men don't usually cheat unless something's off at home. Maria freezes. A single breath. That's all she allows herself before answering. Maybe. Or maybe some people just lie really well. Christy looks startled, then covers it with a brittle laugh. I just meant, well, if you ever want to talk. I don't. Silence. Then Maria smiles again, this time sharp, polished. Thanks, though. Eva and Mateo come bursting through the gate, and Maria opens her arms, pulling them close. The children don't ask about the tension. They just hold her hands, one on each side. As they walk to the car, Maria hears Christy whispering to another mom behind her. She didn't look back. Kitchen table, late night. The house is asleep. Maria stares at something she hasn't touched in years, her old recipe notebook. The house is silent except for the low hum of the refrigerator and the occasional creak of the settling floorboards. Maria sits alone at the kitchen table, a steaming cup of chamomile tea warming her hands, her elbows resting beside a closed, weather-worn notebook. Outside, moonlight washes the backyard in blue. The dishes are done, the kids are asleep, and her inbox is empty, every job application either ignored or rejected. She feels suspended. Like she's trapped in a holding pattern, waiting for life to show her mercy. She picks up the notebook slowly, her fingers running across the leather-like cover. It's soft from age and stained at the corners, batter smudges, probably some frosting, maybe even a tear or two from years ago when she believed life was still hers to shape. Maria opens it. The scent of vanilla, imagined or real, seems to rise from the pages. Inside, her handwriting from a decade ago. Slanted, eager. She flips through page after page of scribbled recipes, flavor notes, decoration sketches, and margin doodles, little hearts and swirls. Some pages have oil stains, others are torn. But the passion? The hunger? It jumps off the paper. Her breath catches when she lands on a page labeled, Dream Bakery. Below it, in bold, hopeful letters, Rise Bakery, because women rise. Drawings cover the margins, cupcakes with delicate rosettes, donuts with glittering sugar, cookies shaped like stars. She sees her old notes about affordable ingredients, holiday-themed boxes, even a mock-up menu. The woman who wrote this was a dreamer. Hopeful. Maybe even naive. Maria presses her palm against the page. She remembers writing it at this very table, a lifetime ago, while Daniel watched a movie in the next room. She had told him about her dream once. He had smiled but said, "Cute idea. But bakeries don't make real money. Stick with nursing school." So she had put the notebook away. And life happened. But now she's on the edge. Nothing is stable. Nothing is promised. She's barely scraping by. And for the first time in years, she wonders, what if this is the moment to try? The fear comes first. The practical voice in her head begins its speech. Who has the time? You're broke. You have 2 kids. You can't afford to fail. But then another voice, quieter, fiercer, says, you already lost everything you were afraid of losing. What's left to be scared of? Maria smiles, small at first, then wider. It's not joy. It's recognition. She sees the girl who dreamed, still alive beneath the woman who's endured. She gets up, opens the pantry, and scans the shelves. Flour. Sugar. Eggs. Baking soda. Not much. But maybe enough. She pulls ingredients down with shaking hands and sets them on the counter. The notebook lies open beside her, the page marked, vanilla bean cupcakes with raspberry buttercream. It's 11:07 p.m. She ties her apron, rolls up her sleeves, and whispers to the room, let's see if you still remember how to rise. She turns on the oven. The soft hum of preheating heat fills the kitchen. As she measures flour, sifts sugar, and cracks eggs into a chipped bowl, something inside her begins to shift. The tears come this time not from pain, but from something stranger, relief. Because this feels like coming home. Maria's kitchen, past midnight. Music low, counters messy, heart full. The kitchen is a disaster zone. Flour dusts every surface like a snowfall. Mixing bowls are stacked precariously in the sink, spoons cling to the edge of mugs, and sticky spatulas teeter like miniature sculptures. The floor is speckled with sugar and frosting drips. It smells like heaven, warm vanilla, citrus zest, and just the faintest note of burnt ambition. Maria doesn't care. It's 2:43 a.m. Her eyes are heavy, back sore, and hair frizzing wildly out of its bun. But her spirit? Alive. Buzzing. Her cheeks are flushed with the heat of the oven and a sense of reckless, delirious joy. She hasn't felt this awake in years. She sets a fresh batch of cupcakes on the cooling rack. These ones actually look good. Not just edible, beautiful. Light, golden tops. The kind she always imagined when she'd doodle bakery dreams in that old notebook. She lifts one gently, like it's fragile, sacred. The first batch she tried a few hours ago was a disaster. Flat. Dense. Too much baking soda. She threw them in the trash and nearly gave up. She stood there, staring at the garbage can, thinking, what the hell am I doing? But something in her refused to quit. Not tonight. Tonight wasn't just about baking. It was about remembering. She switches on her phone and scrolls to her old playlist, songs from when she was younger, freer, bolder. Natasha Bedingfield. Florence and the Machine. Alicia Keys. She presses play. Soft vocals fill the room. Maria closes her eyes as the music swells. Her body sways instinctively, softly dancing as she wipes the counter, hips moving to a beat only she feels. No one's watching. No one's judging. She bakes long into the night, failing a few batches, laughing once when her frosting turns to soup. But she keeps going. At 3:21 a.m., she finally pulls a tray from the oven. Perfectly golden cupcakes, the top stoned and tender. Maria takes a bite. It's soft. Sweet. Real. She closes her eyes. Smiles. And for the first time in a long time, hope tastes like sugar and vanilla. She dips her finger into the frosting, a silky raspberry buttercream she finally got right after 3 failed attempts. She tastes it. It's perfect. Maria laughs, a real one this time. Loud. Bright. It echoes off the cabinets and makes her cover her mouth, shocked at the sound. This isn't just sugar and flour. This is hers. She pipes the frosting slowly, carefully, onto the cupcakes. It's messy. The swirls aren't Instagram-worthy. But they are filled with intention. And dignity. And defiance. When she's done, she arranges them on a plate and carries them to the table, sitting down like she's serving dessert to herself after a long, victorious battle. She takes a bite. Sweet and tart. Soft crumb. The raspberry hits the roof of her mouth like a memory. She chews slowly. Smiling through it. Eyes glassy. She finishes one. Then another. Not because she's hungry. Because she earned it. She snaps a photo of the third one on her phone. Hesitates. Then opens a new Instagram account. She stares at the screen for a moment, thumb hovering. Then types at risebakery_Maria. Caption: sometimes the best things come from falling apart. She hits post. The clock reads 3:11 a.m. Maria wipes the counters down, humming softly now, her whole body moving slower. She stacks her dishes, washes what she can, and leaves the rest for tomorrow. Before heading to bed, she places one perfect cupcake in a Tupperware for Eva. Another for Mateo. She tucks little notes inside each: Mom believes in you. She turns off the kitchen light, leaving behind a warm glow, a clean plate, and the lingering scent of hope. In the darkness of the hallway, as she climbs the stairs one aching step at a time, she murmurs to herself, "That's batch one. Just the beginning." And she smiles. Not because everything is okay. But because, finally, she knows, it can be. Early Saturday morning, local outdoor market. Folding tables, white tents, sleepy vendors, and the beginning of something real. The morning air is crisp, the kind that hints at summer's fade. Dew still clings to blades of grass as Maria pulls her old hatchback into the gravel lot. Her hands tighten around the steering wheel. She turns off the engine and stares at the tented stalls already dotting the park, some vendors halfway through setting up. Fresh flowers, handmade soap, jewel-toned produce piled high, everything smells alive, open, effortless. Maria, in contrast, feels anything but. Her heart is pounding. Her palms are slick. She checks the trunk again, twice, making sure she didn't forget anything: folding table, cloth, napkins, tiny chalkboard sign, and of course, the cupcakes. 2 dozen, nestled in clear containers, each one hand-frosted late last night. Vanilla raspberry. Chocolate espresso, lemon lavender. She reaches into her purse and pulls out a small compact mirror. Her face is pale, sleep-deprived, but determined. She pats down flyaways and smooths her sweater. "You got this," she whispers. "They don't have to love it. You just have to show up." It's not confidence, not yet. But it's courage. That's more useful anyway. 7:23 a.m. The table is up. The cloth is ironed, poorly. The chalkboard sign reads, "Rise Bakery, handmade with heart." Maria arranges the cupcakes in neat rows. She sprinkles a few edible petals over the tray. A borrowed cake stand holds her prettiest batch like a centerpiece. It all looks good. Not perfect. Not like the professionally printed booths around her with branded packaging and matching aprons. But it's hers. She stands behind the table, hands folded, and waits. Minutes pass. A couple walks by, eyes flicking to the cupcakes, then away. A kid tugs his mother toward the booth next door, kettle corn. Another vendor beside her leans over with a polite smile. "First market?" she asks. Maria nods, clearing her throat. "Yeah. Just trying it out." The woman grins. "Takes a few weeks to get seen. Don't let the slow start get to you." Maria forces a grateful smile, but her stomach twists. She watches people pass. Watches other booths exchange cash and smiles. Watches her cupcakes sweat a little under their plastic domes. Maybe this was a mistake. But then, a small voice. Mommy, look. Pink cupcakes. Maria looks up and sees a little girl in a tutu, sticky lollipop in one hand, pointing enthusiastically at her table. The mother smiles, tugged unwillingly toward Maria's booth. Just one, she warns the girl. Maria's hands tremble slightly as she opens the container. Vanilla raspberry, she says, offering one. The girl takes it. Bites in. Her eyes widen. MMM. The mom looks skeptical. Then curious. Can I try one? Of course. Maria offers a sample. The woman chews slowly, then nods, surprised. That's really good. How much? Maria blinks. $3. The woman pulls out a 5. Keep the change. These are homemade, right? Maria nods. Figured. You can taste the difference. As they walk away, cupcake in hand, the girl waving, Maria stands frozen. That was her first sale. And then, another woman stops. A man in a baseball cap behind her asks, "What's lemon lavender?" By 9:15 a.m., the tray is half empty. One of the kettle corn sellers comes by and trades a bag for a cupcake. 2 kids circle back after dragging their dad along. Maria can barely keep the smile off her face. By 10 a.m., she's sold out. Sold out. She stares at the empty containers, heart hammering in a new, unfamiliar rhythm, pride. Not relief. Not survival. Pride. As she's packing up, the woman from the next booth offers her a wink. Told you. You just had to show up. Maria grins. Thanks. I think I'll be back next weekend. She loads her things into the car, heart lighter than it's been in months. In the driver's seat, she closes her eyes for a moment, resting her hands on the wheel. No one from her past would believe it. Not Daniel. Not the women at school pickup. Not even the version of herself from last month. But this? This is the beginning of something. She drives off toward home, cupcake crumbs still clinging to her apron, and for the first time since her life fell apart, she whispers aloud, "I'm going to make this work." A fast-paced sequence over several weeks. Home kitchen, social media clips, return to the farmer's market, community interactions. Maria starts to glow. It starts with a single photo. A customer from the market, a teenage girl with purple nail polish and a phone full of food selfies, posts a picture of Maria's raspberry frosted cupcake with the caption, "Y'all. This." The mom who makes these said it's her first week here. Support her. #RiseBakery #CupcakeQueen. Maria only finds out when her daughter shows her on Sunday night. Mom, you're on Instagram. Like, a lot. Maria frowns. What? What do you mean a lot? Eva holds up her phone. That cupcake pic is getting shared. People are commenting. Asking where you'll be next. Maria scrolls, stunned. Over 100 likes. Dozens of comments, where do I order? Does she do gluten-free? This is that single mom at the market, right? I've heard about her. She blinks at the screen, unsure whether to laugh or cry. A new message pings, a local coffee shop asking if she wholesales. Monday. Maria is in the kitchen before sunrise, measuring, mixing, frosting. The house fills with sugar and focus. She works in her slippers, hair in a messy braid, soft music playing in the background. She burns a tray. Drops a bowl. Smears frosting on her cheek without noticing. But every batch gets better. Maria stays up late filling the orders, exhaustion no longer a weight, but a sign of forward motion. The next weekend, farmer's market. She's there before sunrise. This time, with a folding sign printed in bold color, Rise Bakery, fresh. Fierce. Female-owned. She's brought double the product, and still sells out before noon. Someone offers to help her set up. Someone else brings her coffee. A fellow vendor hands her a referral card for a local business grant. Been watching you grow, the vendor says. You've got fire. Maria doesn't know what to say. She just nods, smiling so wide her cheeks hurt. Montage, the rise. Maria, rolling out dough with powdered sugar all over her arms. Her kids helping label boxes. Eva draws tiny cupcake logos on the sides. Maria handing off a box to a delivery driver. The counter holds rows of cupcakes now, more than before, each one made with the kind of fierce precision you only develop when your dreams are riding on flour and buttercream. Wednesday. She gets a phone call from a woman who runs a community blog. I'm doing a piece on local women-owned businesses. You've come up 3 times. Any chance I can interview you? Maria is stunned. Yes. Sure. I mean, yes. That night, she irons a blouse and cleans the kitchen before the woman arrives. She tells her story, not all the pain, not the betrayal, but the strength that followed. The article goes live the next morning. From scratch, how one mother is rising with a whisk and a dream. The responses pour in. People start messaging. Some ask for pickup orders. Others want to meet her at the next market. A local teacher orders cupcakes for her entire classroom. A cafe owner sampling a bite and nodding, impressed. Another job application pops up on Maria's screen. She pauses, then deletes it. 1 month later. She stands at the counter of the coffee shop that now sells her muffins daily. Behind her, a printed card reads, featuring, Rise Bakery, local, handcrafted, and made with strength. Maria drops off the box of baked goods, then checks her phone. An alert from the bank, deposit received. For the first time in months, there's more coming in than going out. She stares at the number. It's not a lot. But it's hers. She leans against the cafe counter for a moment, sipping a coffee she didn't have to make herself. Someone walks up. You're the baker, right? The one who started from her kitchen? Maria nods, still surprised every time someone knows her name. That's amazing, the woman says. You're kind of inspiring. Maria chuckles, not out of dismissal, but disbelief. I'm just a mom who bakes. The woman smiles. No. You're the mom who didn't give up. That night, as Maria tucks her kids into bed, Eva hugs her tight. Mom, when I grow up, I want to do something brave too. Maria kisses her forehead. You will. You already are. Inside a small, sunlit commercial space. White walls, concrete floors. A blank canvas waiting for a second chance. The keys shake in Maria's hand as she unlocks the front door. Click. Push. Open. Sunlight pours in through the tall front windows, painting warm squares on the bare floor. The space smells like fresh paint and dust. It's small, no more than 600 square feet, but to Maria, it may as well be a cathedral. She steps inside slowly, like she's afraid it might vanish if she breathes too hard. It's quiet. Empty. But filled with possibility. A few weeks ago, she never would have believed this was real. But the orders kept coming. The community kept talking. Her name spread not just as the cupcake mom, but as something more. Capable. Resilient. Needed. And then a woman from the local business incubator, someone who'd bought cupcakes at the market, connected her with a small grant and a landlord willing to give a single mom a break on the lease. So here she is. Standing in her future. Maria looks down at the contract still in her hand. The pen hangs in midair. Then, without fanfare, she signs it. Her name curls across the paper with shaky but certain strokes. Maria Elena Rivera, owner. She exhales shakily. A sound escapes her, part laugh, part cry, all disbelief. 1 week later. The walls are half-painted, streaked with lemon yellow and soft gray. Maria is on a ladder with a roller, sweat dripping down her temple, music blaring from her phone. She's covered in paint and joy. Eva is on the floor arranging faux greenery around the window display. Mateo is at the back, testing cookie samples. The place is coming alive, one brushstroke at a time. Her friend Delia, a recently divorced mom of two who lost her job last year, walks in holding a box of mixing bowls. "You sure about this?" she asks, teasing. "Nope," Maria replies, grinning. "Not even a little." They laugh, not bitterly, but freely. Together. Delia joins the team that day. 2 weeks later, Maria hires another single mom from the community shelter who had baking experience and needed a restart. Opening day. The smell of fresh bread and sugar wafts into the street. The sign outside is simple but bold: Rise. Handmade. Heart-baked. Homegrown. Customers start trickling in as the sun climbs higher. Friends. Teachers. Neighbors who once offered fake sympathy now stand in line, money in hand, eyes wide. Maria wears an apron over a sundress, her hair curled and pinned with care. She feels strange, seen, centered. Like she's stepping into the space she used to make smaller for others. At noon, someone brings in flowers. At 1, a local reporter drops by for a photo. By closing time, they're nearly out of everything. Maria stands behind the counter wiping her hands when the door opens quietly. And Daniel walks in. He's thinner than she remembers. A little grayer. His clothes look expensive, but his eyes, not the same. He pauses when he sees her. Looks around, takes it all in. The customers chatting. The display case shining. The small bell above the door that chimes when people leave, smiling. "I heard about all this," he says, gesturing around. "Didn't believe it until I saw the sign." Maria doesn't flinch. She wipes her hands on a towel. "Why are you here, Daniel?" He shrugs, feigning casual. "I made a mistake. I thought I'd be happier. But it's not what I imagined." "You've changed." Maria tilts her head, studying him. Then smiles, slow and calm. "No, Daniel. I didn't change." He blinks. "I just stopped shrinking." He looks stunned. And for once, she doesn't care. "I'm glad you're finding your way," she says gently. "But mine doesn't lead back to you." He nods slowly. Then walks out. The bell jingles behind him. Maria exhales and turns back to the counter. Delia walks over, eyebrows raised. "That who I think it was?" Maria nods. Delia grins. "You good?" Maria smiles, eyes clear. "Better than good." She steps into the kitchen. Puts on her apron. And gets back to work. A women's empowerment conference, community auditorium. Rows of folding chairs. Warm lighting. A microphone. A stage where Maria finally speaks for herself. The auditorium is buzzing. The walls are strung with photos of small businesses, quotes from female entrepreneurs, and posters with bold titles like "Resilience is Revolutionary" and "She Who Builds, Rises." Women of every age fill the seats, some in business suits, others in jeans and tees, holding babies, clipboards, coffees. Maria waits backstage, heart pounding against her ribs like it's trying to escape. She smooths the front of her black dress for the 10th time. Nothing fancy, just clean lines, sleeves to the wrist, a belt cinched neatly at the waist. She's never worn anything like it on a stage before. Never stood under lights meant for voices like hers. A volunteer peeks through the curtain. "You're next." Maria nods. Her mouth is dry, her hands cold. Beside her sits the note card she scribbled her outline on. 3 bullet points. Then a single phrase underlined 3 times: "Tell the truth. Not the tragedy." She tucks the card into her palm, walks up the steps, and steps into the light. Applause greets her. The stage isn't high, but it feels like another world. She reaches the mic, adjusts it. Swallows. The room quiets. She begins. "I didn't plan to be standing here." She lets the pause sit. Lets them feel the truth in it. "A year ago, I was wiping down a diner counter at 6 a.m., cleaning an office building at midnight, and crying in between because I couldn't afford ballet shoes for my daughter. I had just lost everything I thought made me, me. Another pause. Some of you might know what that feels like, to be invisible while the world still demands everything from you. I was a wife, a mother, a partner, a provider. And then, in one night, I became something else. Her eyes scanned the room. Women nodding. Others blinking fast. I wanted to fall apart. Some days, I did. Quietly. In locked bathrooms or empty cars. She smiles, small and real. But then I found a notebook. One I'd hidden years ago, full of old recipes and dreams I'd long given up. And something strange happened. I didn't feel foolish for dreaming. I felt angry that I'd stopped. The silence deepens. So I baked one batch of cupcakes. And they were awful. Laughter breaks the tension. She grins. But I kept going. And slowly, things began to shift. I stopped waiting to be rescued. I stopped asking for permission to believe in myself. Applause begins, small but steady. Maria breathes in, her voice stronger now. People ask me how I built Rise Bakery while working 2 jobs and raising 2 kids. The truth? I built it because of that. Because I had to. Because my children were watching. Because no one was coming to do it for me. She steps closer to the mic. I was broken. I was discarded. But I wasn't destroyed. I gathered the shattered pieces and built something new. I didn't just survive. She looks out. Her voice lowers but sharpens. I rebuilt. I rose. And I am not a victim. I am the architect of my life. The room erupts. Applause thunders like rain. Some women stand. Others wipe their eyes. Maria stands tall, shoulders square, the applause washing over her like light. Behind her, the screen changes to show the Rise Bakery logo, and below it, her photo. Hands dusted with flour. A smirk of quiet victory. She takes one last breath, bows her head in gratitude, and steps away from the mic. As she walks off stage, someone stops her, a girl, maybe 18, voice trembling. You don't know me, she says, but I needed to hear every word you just said. Maria smiles, touches her shoulder gently. I didn't say it for me, she replies. I said it for you. Rise Bakery, late afternoon. Golden light spills through the windows. The bakery buzzes with life, love, and legacy. The front door jingles as another customer walks in. The warm scent of cinnamon and vanilla envelopes them instantly, like a hug. Inside, Rise is alive. Not just open. Not just functioning. Thriving. The space Maria once painted with trembling hands is now filled with laughter and movement. The walls are decorated with photos of customers, staff, and handwritten notes that say things like "Best muffins in town," and "You inspire me." In the corner, a corkboard brims with flyers, local events, business cards, announcements from other women-led ventures. The kind Maria now mentors. There's a steady rhythm to the place. A hum. The bell at the register rings occasionally, the espresso machine hisses, soft music plays, and children's chatter echoes from the homework table in the back. At that table, Matteo leans over a worksheet, helping 2 younger kids with math. His voice is calm, focused. A natural teacher. He doesn't even realize he's becoming one. Near the front, Eva stands at the register, confidently taking an order from a woman with 2 toddlers in tow. She hands over change with a smile that looks eerily like her mother's, calm, kind, grounded. Maria watches from behind the counter, a coffee in hand. She's not working the register today. Or the ovens. Her apron hangs on the wall behind her, flour-stained and folded with love. She stands with her shoulders relaxed, eyes steady, absorbing the world she created. Delia passes her with a tray of mini lemon loaves. You want me to restock the display case? Maria nods. Thank you, yes. Delia pauses. I scheduled the interview with that girl from the shelter. The one who wants to learn to bake. Maria's eyes soften. Good. Bring her in next week. We'll train her. A little boy runs up to the counter and shyly hands Maria a crumpled napkin. This is for you, he whispers. She unfolds it, a crayon drawing of her holding a cupcake, smiling, arms open. Above it, in uneven letters, thank you for being strong. Maria swallows the lump in her throat. She crouches to eye level. Did you draw this? He nods proudly. It's perfect, she says. Just like you. His mom calls him back and he runs off, waving. Maria tucks the napkin drawing behind the counter, beside other small treasures, a thank you note from her first regular, a Polaroid from opening day, and a sticky note from Eva that reads, Mom, you rose so we could too. Later, after closing, the lights dim and chairs are flipped onto tables. Maria sits by the window with her coffee, watching the dusk settle over the town. The streets are quiet, the sky painted in strokes of rose and gold. She thinks of the woman she used to be, the one who sat at this very table months ago, crying over unpaid bills and a shattered marriage. She thinks of that first cupcake. That first market. That terrifying moment of deciding she was enough. And now? She's not alone. She's not struggling. She's not just surviving. She's rooted. She's respected. She's rising still. Her business isn't just a bakery. It's a safe haven. A launch pad. A reminder that strength isn't loud or showy, it's quiet, persistent, like dough rising in the dark. Maria looks toward the kitchen, where laughter echoes, her team cleaning up, cracking jokes. She lifts her cup in a small, private toast. To the women who rebuild. She takes a sip, smiles to herself, and whispers, we don't just rise. We raise others.